Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is where we unpack the stories the timeline can't stop talking about and separate hard facts from hopeful fanfiction. Today's deep dive centers on two names you know by heart, Yağmur Yüksel and Barış Baktas, the luminous leads of Consisekleri, whose on-screen chemistry as Dylan and Baron has spilled into an off-screen mystery that refuses to cool down. Please tap like, subscribe, and ring the bell so this kind of long-form breakdown keeps showing up in your feed. Alright, let's roll. From its very first week, Consisekleri wasn't just a TV series, it was an emotional ritual. Yes, the plot twists hooked viewers, but what truly glued audiences to their screens was the way Yağmur and Barış held a scene. The quiet pauses between lines. The steel-softening glances in a doorstep goodbye. The deliberate, almost musical timing before a kiss. The pairing worked because their performances made fictional feel perilously close to real. And that is why the latest offset development sent the fandom into overdrive. It began, depending on whose timeline you follow, with a single image posted at daybreak. Not a posed red carpet moment, not a brand partnership, but a low-light photo outside a high-end residence on the Asian side of Istanbul. Within minutes, users claimed the building matched the private complex where Barış Baktas is known to reside. A few hours later, a different account uploaded a grainy clip of a dark SUV approaching the gate around midnight, then departing just after dawn. The passenger, commenters insisted, was Yağmur Yüksel. None of this has been officially confirmed, still, the internet did what it does, paused, zoomed, circled, theorized. The detail that detonated the discourse wasn't the alleged arrival. It was what happened during the alleged exit. A small, ordinary gesture that fans called extraordinary. In the clip, a person believed to be Barış appears to hand a slim, steel thermos to a woman many assume is Yağmur. She takes it with both hands and laughs, softly, audibly, unmistakably. Thermos analysis followed. Tea? Coffee? A long night of script work? A long night, full stop? The hashtag thermosgate started as a joke and ended up as a rolling debate about intimacy versus practicality. To slow the rumor train, the production company behind Consisekleri issued a short statement. The two actors had participated in an urgent rehearsal stemming from last-minute changes to the finale's dialogue. There was no romance, only professionalism. On paper, this is plausible. Top billing leads often cram rewrites at odd hours. Chemistry doesn't happen by accident, sometimes it's sculpted at 2 a.m. when everyone else is asleep. But the explanation raised new questions. Why meet in a private residence instead of a studio or rehearsal space? Why no supervising director, dialect coach, or script editor present? If it was purely work, why the cloak and dagger arrival after midnight? While management tried to draw a line under it, anonymous voices around the set supplied competing narratives. A crew member from lighting said there was a late rewrite and that both actors prefer rehearsing face-to-face. You can't feel a scene over a video call, the person said. A wardrobe assistant remembered nothing unusual in their behavior the next morning, no inside jokes, no stolen looks, just two professionals focused on making their marks. But a transport driver suggested the pickup had been personally requested by Barış after the day's schedule imploded. Either we arranged it, or we'd lose the shot tomorrow, he reportedly said. 3 accounts, 3 overlapping truths: urgent work, neutral behavior, logistical necessity. None are proof of a romance, and none rule it out. Behind the online sleuthing lies a less glamorous reality: clauses. In Turkey's high-stakes television economy, productions sometimes embed contractual language discouraging romantic entanglements between leads if it risks delays, sponsor blowback, or crew instability. Those clauses, according to industry veterans, aren't urban myth. They might not forbid relationships outright, but they can impose financial penalties if a private affair morphs into a public crisis that derails production. Whether Yağmur and Barış have such terms in their contracts is, of course, confidential. But the mere existence of those clauses explains two things at once: the cautious distance they've maintained in public, and the whiplash effect whenever a moment slips the net, like a dawn departure or a shared thermos. The fandom's reactions have split into two vocal camps. Team Romance points to months of microsignals, his habit of listening more than speaking when she talks, her reflex of mirroring his body posture during interviews, the way they drift toward each other on a crowded stage. They argue that true connection reveals itself in ordinary things, how someone waits for you to finish a sentence, how a hand hovers just close enough to catch yours if you falter. For them, the private rehearsal defense sounds like a tidy cover story for something delicate and new. Team professionalism counters with receipts of their own. They note how both actors carefully avoid joint brand deals that could cash in on their pairing, how they decline couple magazine shoots, how they skip after-parties where candid cameras feast. If there were a relationship, Team P argues, the playbook would look very different. Less silence, more soft launches. Or at least a controlled magazine reveal to manage the narrative. Here, the thermos is a thermos, the SUV a paid car, the smile a night's work completed. Lost in the frenzy is the bigger context neither side can ignore, time. Reliable whispers suggest Barış is circling a historical series that would keep him on location for half a year, while Yağmur has been auditioning for a Spanish-language streaming project shooting in Europe. If both lock, the duo could be split by flights, time zones, and call sheets until winter. That ticking clock reshapes the overnight narrative. Perhaps the so-called rehearsal was less about lines and more about alignment, two people deciding what they are or are not before distance decides for them. There's also the meta-story. Audiences crave the fairy tale where on-screen passion blossoms into off-screen love. We want fiction to reassure us that our instincts are right, that the chemistry we witnessed wasn't just good acting but a promise. But actors are craftsmen first. They build convincing worlds from marks on a floor and edits in a suite. If we mistake craft for confession, we risk turning admiration into surveillance. It's one thing to analyze a performance, it's another to diagram someone's front gate. And yet, the human brain keeps circling back to the simplest image, two silhouettes at dawn, a small cylinder passed from one set of hands to another, steam rising like a secret exhale. The gesture lands because it's ordinary. Lovers and colleagues both share tea. Families and friends both rehearse life's hardest lines together in quiet rooms. Our fascination rests in not knowing which one we're seeing, and maybe not needing to know. Here's what we can say without speculating beyond the evidence. Something prompted a late-night meet that bled into morning. Management offered a work-based explanation that is plausible but incomplete. Neutral set behavior the next day suggests whatever happened, both actors protected the work. Career trajectories could soon impose geographic distance, adding urgency to any private decisions. So where does that leave us? With a question only they can answer. Are Yağmur Yüksel and Barış backed as two consummate professionals in the furnace of final week rewrites? Two people carefully guarding a precious beginning against the sharp teeth of the spotlight? Or both at once, artists who understand that some truths bloom only when no one is watching? I'll close with this. Can Sissekleri thrived because it trusted the audience to read subtext? Perhaps we owe the same trust to its stars. Support the work, respect the boundary, and allow for the possibility that the most meaningful scenes happen off camera and are no one's content but their own. If you've made it this far, drop your take below for team romance or team professionalism, and tell me which clue swayed you most. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our follow-up if either camp gets official confirmation. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your conclusions soft. Some stories are best held the way you hold a warm thermos at dawn, carefully, with both hands.